Hello, I'm Dean, and welcome to the Lightning Guy. That's me. This is our second video documenting our adventures in owning our 2024 F150 Lightning XLT model. Now, I wanted to do these videos because, well, quite frankly, when I was doing my homework on the truck, I could hardly find any videos from around where I live, up here in Alberta, Canada. Yes, I watched tons of videos, guys from California, Texas, Colorado, Maine, all with great information on the truck, but it wasn't quite enough information for myself because, well, up here, we have winter 5 months out of the year and it gets damn cold. And I wanted to make sure this truck was going to perform for me where I live. So, everybody and their dog will tell you, these EVs, yeah, they'll work in warmer climates, but they'll never, and I repeat, never work in cold climates. Well, join me and let's find out if that's actually true. So, we purchased our F-150 Lightning at the end of September 2024. So we've actually had it for about a year and a bit. We've gone through a full winter, this summer, and now we're back to the fall. So let's time travel back to late fall last year. We're talking October, and the weather's starting to turn. Daytime highs for us, we're getting about 5 to 7 degrees Celsius. So we're talking in the 40s Fahrenheit, but it does dip below zero at night. And guess what? Our truck lives outside. Unfortunately, we only have a small attached garage, and the truck is just too big to fit in there. So it stays outside. We do have a home charger. It is a 48 amp charger. It gives us about 10 to 11 kilowatt per hour charge. So it does take a few hours to charge overnight. We plug it in before we go to bed, and by the morning, we have full charge. I did set my truck at charge to 90%. You hear a lot of people talk about charging to 80%. That's what they recommend is 80%. Don't charge to 100% all the time. Your battery degradation will happen faster if you do that. So I wanted to do something a little bit differently. So I decided on 90%. Don't know why. It's just what I wanted to do. So we plug it in every night. We usually don't let the battery go more than, say, down to 30 or 40%. We don't drive that far during the day to work and back. So maybe 30, 40 kilometers at the most if we're running around doing a few things. So it works quite well for us. We don't have any issues in charging when the weather has gotten colder. So we charge our truck maybe every other night, 2 to 3 nights a week. This time of year, we don't do a lot of driving back and forth to work, maybe 20 to 30 kilometers, maybe a little bit of running around. So we put the charger on at night, and by morning, we have full charge. Again, I set it at 90% state of charge, and that gives us approximately 275 to 280 kilometers. Now, again, as I said, we don't drive very far, so we don't let our battery range get down very low at all. And one of the benefits of charging your vehicle or having it on the charger is that the battery becomes active charging, and it keeps the battery warmer when you're getting to those lower temperatures. Like I said, we're down below zero now, maybe -4, -5 at night. It helps keep that battery at its normal range. If you can keep your battery temperature at normal, you'll get the best performance out of your battery, which means you'll get the best range out of your truck. Now, I want to show you a little picture I took of my dash on this specific day. You can see that when we look at the left side of the dash, the range shows that I have 119 kilometers left. And my battery percentage is at 43% battery. Just to the left of that, you'll see the power that we have left in the truck is at 94%. If you look to the middle of the dash, you'll see that I drove 5.4 kilometers on this trip, and I got 3.1 kilometers per kilowatt hour. And the temperature outside this day was at 4 degrees Celsius. So going through all of that, if you take a look up top on the dash, at 4 degrees Celsius, our battery temperature is still bang on normal in the middle, and our motor temp is the same. That's where you want it to be. That's where you're going to get the best performance out of your F-150 Lightning. So you can see that as long as you have good charging habits, you keep that battery warm overnight, the range shouldn't be that big of a deal. Yes, you're going to lose range from the summertime. You know, I think in the summertime at 90%, we were probably getting about 310 kilometers at 90% charge. So now in the late fall, with the temperatures dropping around that zero, we're still getting, you know, 275 kilometers at 90% state of charge, which I believe is pretty good. And I probably think that's pretty standard for most people who own an F-150 Lightning. Again, it's not that the truck won't work in colder weather. It's that you have to manage your truck properly. You would do that with your gasoline vehicle. You just got to change a few things and do the same thing for your electric vehicle, and it'll work just fine. No issues at all. So, one last thing I want to discuss about getting into colder weather. We actually did put on some winter tires on our truck. We have some Uniroyal Tiger Paw winter snow and ice tires. They are 20-inch, a little bit more aggressive tread on the tires. So one thing with tires, you go from the all seasons to the winters, or even if you're doing an all-terrain tire, anything with a little bit more aggressive tread, you will get slightly less range out of your truck, because the friction of the more aggressive tires means the truck has to use more power to get her moving. But it's not like a big number. I don't know what it might be, maybe 2 or 3%, but it's not a big deal. And to have the safety of having winter tires in, well, winter, which we get a lot of here, is it good to have that peace of mind. Also, we did have a tonneau covered, a roll-up tonneau cover installed in our truck. That's kind of helpful for, well, obviously we can put things in the back and close it, but in the wintertime, it does keep the snow out of the back of the truck. So we don't always have to go out there and shovel snow out of the back of the truck. It doesn't add a lot of weight, but like I said with the tires, weight is the same thing. You add more weight, it's going to slightly affect your range. Not a whole bunch, but hey, you know what? Every little bit helps. So those are the two things that we did that I think is going to help us with our driving experience in our F-150 Lightning, you know, during this late fall going into winter. So that's kind of been our first month of owning our new F-150 Lightning XLT. Now, learning the charging habits, learning how the cold affects the charging and our range, how it's driving with the winter tires on it. You know what? So far, we've been very happy with our truck. We haven't had any issues whatsoever, but the real cold weather is just around the corner. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and join us for our next video when we do get into some really cold weather and how is that going to affect our charging and the overall performance of our F-150 Lightning. See you later.